Hi everyone, Letty here. Today I'm going to share with you a craft with me video where we make some Christmas cards and tags using the December 2020 SCT Sampler Kit that I recently received and shared on a haul video. So this is the SCT Sampler. This was the December 2020. The theme was happy. And we did get some Doodlebug as well as Close to My Heart as the main two things. This was a Gina K design stamp. I'll be saving that for future. Scrapbook.com alpha stickers. I'll also save those for future. Then we had some Close to My Heart punch outs. And so these were actually really neat. I did save the negative of this tree because I really liked it. So I figured I would use it like a stencil later on. And then there were also the SCT exclusive word, some Kingston Crafts chipboard pieces. We had a Doodle Pop. We had some Doodlebug ephemera pieces, which they call odds and ends. We had the Close to My Heart paper and cardstock, which I've already die cut into some shapes to make some cards and things. Then the Close to My Heart cardstock stickers that came with those punch outs. It was like a set. And then the Doodlebug paper, we got 6 sheets of Doodlebug paper. I've already die cut it out into tags of different sizes and some backgrounds for cards. And then I am bringing in some A2 card bases and some card mats made from solid cardstock, as well as the Doodlebug odds and ends ephemera pack. This was the Christmas Magic collection. And then the twine, which was gold and white. I'm using my Barely Art glue for my wet glue. And then I will be using the tape runner by DKUSA. This is one that I recently won in an Instagram giveaway, so I went ahead and decided to take one of these out to use them for this project. So the first step is going to be some Doodlebug projects, and I'm going to be starting by making 2 cards. So the kit this month did come with 2 of these little tags that you just cut apart. And so I decided those would make excellent focal points for some cards. I think I mentioned that in my last haul video where I unboxed this. And so I thought, you know what, these would be perfect for some cards. So I just die cut some of the paper that has like a scalloped and stitched edge. And then I went ahead and added that with some cardstock. I am using the Super Glue brand. It's dimensional foam tape from Dollar Tree. I've mentioned this. I've hauled this before. This is one of my favorite to use. I did add that to the back to kind of give some dimension to this tag. And then I did also add some twine to tie a bow at the top. So you could stop here, but I went ahead and added on some of these Kingston Crafts chipboard pieces, the little shapes, to the card itself. So to me, things look great in sets of 3. I think odd numbers are kind of what look best, so I went ahead and added 3. Now, I've seen people do this recently, and so I wanted to try this out. I'm using a black Sharpie pen to add some faux stitching with the pen all the way around as like an additional border. This is what it looks like. I think they came out cute. I think this faux stitching really lends itself really well to Doodlebug design. I guess because it's a little bit more like kid friendly and almost like whimsical. So that faux stitching to me looked actually really good. So I went ahead and I do that, and you'll see that I actually do that on all the rest of the cards in this specific video. So again, I used just a regular black Sharpie pen, and this one was a pen. It's not a marker. It's the regular Sharpie pen, the black color. So again, I'm just adding some dimension to the back of the tags. Both of these card layouts, I did pretty much exactly the same. I think the only difference is the embellishments. I did also add some of these Kingston Craft chipboard shapes, just like I did on the first one. But then you'll see here in a second that I do kind of take out some of these little odds and ends or ephemera pieces from the Doodlebug collection, which are these little gumdrops, to add them on as well, just for a little bit more dimension and kind of, you know, interest to the card. So those were the 2 finished cards. You can see the little scalloped, the stitched edging that I did, the faux stitch edging. So now we're going to go ahead and do the tags. So I did end up die cutting 4 big size tags. And then I did die cut several additional layers of smaller tags. I've seen this done before where people will layer up different sizes of tags, and I think it turns out really great. So that's actually exactly what I'm going to be doing here. I'm going to be layering up a couple different sizes. I do zoom in just a bit just so you can kind of see a little bit closer of kind of firsthand action of what's happening as I'm designing or decorating these cards. So you'll only be able to see kind of one at a time, but it will help you kind of see some more of the details. So I'm adding in some of this dimensional foam tape just to kind of pop this up. And I do use one of those chipboard pieces from the Close to My Heart set. And I'm using one of the Doodlebug pieces that I got from the odds and ends, or the ephemera as they call it. So one thing that I did notice about the tape runner is I really do like it. It says on the box that it's permanent, adhesive or whatever. And I really do think that, because it actually was really, really firm hold. It might even be a little better than what I normally use in my ATG. What I use in my ATG is a little bit more forgiving, I think, than this one, which is actually pretty neat. I actually did like it. Now, of course, I received it as a free gift in a giveaway as a prize, so I don't even know how much it cost, but I thought that it actually worked, very, very well. So I've already finished up one tag, and I'm on to my second one. These go by so quickly. If you've never made your own tags like this, I really challenge you to do them. They are so much fun. Take out a pack of ephemera, or any kind of die cut shapes, or fussy cut maybe some images from a paper pad or a paper pack, or just a sheet of paper, and it's really fun to just kind of layer on different textures and kind of dimensions to these tags, and usually the end result, they usually really look really, really great. So I really, really challenge you to try that out if you've never tried them. They're super fun. I normally will just take out a bunch of supplies. I'll die cut. You know me, I like my assembly line crafts, so I'll take out and die cut several layers of tags all at once, and then I'll go in and I'll start decorating them all at once. But I find this process to be very, very relaxing, and really fun. So definitely try it if you've never tried it. So here I'm doing the last two tags. I do end up taking out a couple of bigger, kind of focal pieces of the ephemera from the Doodlebug collection that I pulled out. This was the Christmas Magic collection. This did not come with my SCT Sampler Kit, but because I only had received two icons, which were the little boy and the reindeer, I went ahead, and I had already used them, I went ahead and took out two additional pieces. I do finish using up the little light bulb and the additional candy, and I do end up using up all the stars that came with that collection as well from the Doodlebug odds and ends that I got with my SCT sampler. So I did make a pretty good dent. I think the only ephemera piece I did not use was the big house, and it's just a really large house. So that's one where I'm probably going to have to make like a 5x7 card and kind of maybe use that as the house, and maybe Santa, riding above head in a sleigh with the reindeer or something, like a really big scene, because they're just huge houses. So yeah, so here are the tags. You can see I'm kind of playing around with things, and that's literally what I do. I just kind of mix and match pieces to see what I like, and there's no shame in kind of going in and trying different things until you find something you like. Here you see I did pull out some of my red Jemmies from Dollar Tree. I've hauled these in the past. I love these, especially around Christmas time. So normally I'll mention that, like, I usually stock up right before Christmas because I use a ton of them. I use them for holly berries, but I also use them for other crafts just like this. So here were the 4 finished tags that I did using the Doodlebug papers. And then I also had the 2 cards as well. So I will be zooming out in just a second. That was that one house. And then I had a few, odds and ends, little bits and pieces of things that I die cut left over. So again, I had 2 cards and 4 tags that I made from the Doodlebug papers. We get 6 sheets from the Doodlebug papers, and this is what I ended up making. I do have some scraps left over I'll use for future projects. So next we're going to make some projects using the Close to My Heart paper that came. And this set came with 3 design papers and 3 cardstock pieces. So I went ahead and just layered them and made mats and front mats for 3 cards. So first thing I'm doing is I'm gluing down the cardstock mat that I die cut out, and then I'm going to go ahead and add in the smaller inlay mat that I use the design paper to use. So I am going to be making 3 cards with the 3 different design papers that I received. Now you see here I am adding a white mat on top of my already white card base. There's a subtle difference in the 2 colors of white, so it doesn't look as bad as it seems. And then I will be coming back in and adding some of that faux stitching to these cards as well. So I think it actually blends itself nicely. And you'll see I am going to be posting some close-up pictures pictures on my Instagram, so you can take a look to see kind of how it looked when you had almost like monochromatic like layering of the mats. Okay, so here was my first finished card, and I did add some stickers to the inside. Next, I'm going to work on this second one. I really liked this little sentiment that they came with, so I went ahead and used that. And then I really like this little white tree. This was, again, the one that I showed you the negative, where I said I would use the negative of that tree as like a stencil for future. I really like that tree, so I figured I'd anchor it with 2 smaller stickers and then go ahead and add that tree. But before I did, I thought, you know what, with all the craziness of the light wires, I thought it would be nice to kind of add a little bit of extra kind of craziness to the card. So I went ahead and added a little bit of the double-sided adhesive to the middle, and then I just literally went through and wrung the twine several loops as a background, just to kind of add some additional dimension to the card. Then I added a Kingston Craft star to be the star of the tree, and then I added those red jemmies. So now I'm just adding a couple stickers to the inside. I think this card turned out super cute. Here's what it looks like. And there's the inside. So again, super cute, super quick and easy as well. Just using what I received from this SCT sampler. So on this last card, I didn't really have like a great sentiment to use as a focal point. So I went ahead and I'm layering on a couple of smaller sentiments. The first one I use is that word Mary that you'll see. And honestly, on this one, I just layered up different layers of things and I kept adding to it. And I think the end result actually turned out pretty cute. You can, again, check up the close-ups on my Instagram, but I literally layered like the squares on top of tags, on top of, you know, more tags, and then I added the additional little sentiment of joy. I added this star. So there's stars and hearts and trees, and there's just all different types of shapes in this as well. But when you see the close-up, I think you'll see that it actually turned out okay. Everything kind of went together. So here's what this second card is looking like. Now I do end up going back in and adding all of the faux stitching to the cards, and I'll show you a little close-up of that in just a second. It's harder to see the faux stitching here because that green is very dark, but I think it actually turned out okay. And then here's the faux stitching on the white card mat, and you can see where it does help to separate those 2 layers just a bit. And I think it turned out okay, but again, you can look up at a close-up on my Instagram. And then here's just the last one. So I'm just, again, adding that faux stitching. Super easy. You can use any type of pen to do this. I just am using a black Sharpie pen, but you can use anything. Again, this was my December 2020 SCT sampler. I ended up making 5 cards plus 4 tags, and I have a ton of leftovers. I do only have a little bit of paper scraps, but I have a ton of other things that I can use. So I will show close-ups on my Instagram of all the projects that I made. Thank you so much. Thanks for visiting. Hope you subscribe, like this video, and follow me on Instagram. Thanks, and happy holidays.